Over the last 4 years on YouTube, we here at Valiant Renegade have discussed a wide range of topics, but one of them, diversity, equity, and inclusion, seems to touch every facet of life in American culture, which of course is a problem because it's little more than cleverly disguised racism going in one particular direction to make it seem like it's perfectly okay because, hey, we need the reparation kind of thing. That's basically what DEI boils down to, but make no mistake, it's still a race-based hiring system or a gender-based hiring system or a sexual orientation-based hiring system. Something that, quite frankly, runs afoul of what you would expect it to, and that is civil rights and federal law, the rule of law. But now, in an unprecedented move, Donald Trump is set to install 200 executive actions on his first day. And there's quite a few to go through here. Some of them very, very important. Many of them trying to undo what the previous administration has done with its own executive orders. But one of them, of course, relates to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Let's talk about it.
Renegade Online.
Obviously this week, this is going to be fun. And since we started the show talking about what's going to happen with Hollywood, what's going to happen now that Trump's in office, what's going to happen with the tie-ins with diversity, equity, and inclusion. Well, it's been discussed now the last couple of weeks that this was going to be one of the first things that Donald Trump was going to tackle when he got into office was DEI and many other things. And as I've stated here before, if you want to live by the executive order, you're going to die by it. Right? In this case, you're going to have all these executive orders like that Obama did, that when Trump got in office, he undid. Biden put a bunch more in, new red tape, more regulations. Trump's probably going to come in and undo a lot of that. Hopefully, this time around when Trump takes some, what many would consider corrective action by doing some of these executive orders to dump old executive orders, that somehow, some way over the next 4 years that the federal government will find some permanence in them so that we don't have to keep unringing the bell constantly.
Yeah.
You know, that's always the hat trick. But let me read from this and we'll get everybody's thoughts here. Trump to take more than 200 executive actions on day one. And the headline here, the executive actions will address border security, derp to dirt, DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, energy, and other issues on which Trump campaigned. Remember when Trump first took office 8 years ago now, and the left was totally confused because he was actually doing what he said he was going to do, and
Yeah.
they were dumbfounded by this. They were like, you know, he's actually doing the stuff he campaigned on. We've never seen this before. This is wild. It's like, and it just,
Yeah.
we're going to get it again. Exclusive. This is from Fox News, right when we started the show. President-elect Donald Trump will sign more than 200 executive actions on Inauguration Day, a massive first wave of policy priorities focused on border security, energy, reducing the cost of living for American families, ending diversity, equity, and inclusion programs across the federal government. Corporate America is going to take direction from this. They're going to see if the federal government is shutting this off. It really gives them a green light to, okay, we can back off of this too. And more. Senior administration official who is familiar with executive actions and is authorized to brief Fox News said that Trump on day one will end catch and release, pause all the offshore wind leases, terminate the electric vehicle mandate, abolish the Green New Deal, withdraw again from the Paris Climate Accord, and take several major steps to assert presidential control over federal bureaucracy. Ron, since you're just joining us on the panel here, your kind of first reaction when you saw this stuff?
I got pretty excited. Here's the thing that is really important to realize. These executive orders are going to be meaningless if what was allowed to happen in 2016 happens this time, and I assure you it's not going to. What happened in 2016 was President Trump made all kinds of decisions, and they were undermined. They were undermined by the administrators, the career administrators in all these departments, not only disregarding, but sometimes just responding, oh, no, we don't have authority to do that. And Trump simply wasn't prepared for it. They're prepared for it this time. They know what they're going to do. They know how they're going to do it. There are a lot of Easter eggs, as you guys put it, in the media criticism space.
Right.
A lot of little presents that have been left behind
Oh, yeah.
by the Democrats, including over the last couple of days, they apparently changed the entire security classification system to make it virtually impossible. But this is all stuff that can be undone as easily as it's done.
Right.
The vast majority of it. But I mean, really, really bad faith conduct. I mean, these people are subversives. In any event, yeah, there are going to be changes made. They've been planned for a very long time. Don't be surprised if a lot of them end up looking quite a bit like Project 2025.
Yeah, there was a lot of critique out there, and I didn't care one lick about it. Let's just do the right thing when he gets in office. And Ron, to your point about the tactics and the subversion, and this sounds crazy to say, and I bet you'll remember this, Ron. I miss the days when some of the childish antics, and generally it came from Democrat administrations when they were on their way out. Some of the childish antics were relatively innocuous, like ripping the W's off the keyboards.
Right.
Remember that?
Yep.
When the Clinton staffers, before they left, they pried all the W keys off the keyboard because George W. Bush was about to come into office.
How childish can you get? But
they had a pizza party and they left trash everywhere in the cabinet room, like pizza boxes, empty pizza boxes, and trash all over the place. So when the Bush people came in the next day, like there was literally garbage
like college
everywhere.
Kids at the end of a lease in a college town.
Yeah,
Right.
Another frat party.
That's how they view the entire enterprise of government and statesmanship.
We have this here where we see a lot of these things talking about energy and all this. And what just happened in the last couple of weeks? You had Joe Biden canceling any additional, like no more leases of offshore drilling on federal waters, blah, 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 blah. All this, we've seen this before. Obama did this kind of stuff. Obama's probably doing it right now. I mean, and of course we have a...
Well, it wasn't Joe did it. You can be sure of that.
We have that interview that was with Mike Johnson. Again, it's people are like, well, Valiant, we knew this. We all knew this, but we now have very public confirmation of everything we knew. It's always good to get that rubber stamp of see. It's now definitive. You can't fake fact check this stuff anymore. This is what actually happened. But the president is issuing a historic series of executive orders and actions that will fundamentally reform the American government, including the complete and total restoration of American sovereignty. On day one, Trump will declare a national border emergency, direct the U.S. military to work with DHS, Department of Homeland Security, to fully secure the southern border, establish a national priority to eliminate all criminal cartels operating on U.S. soil. Trump will close the border to illegal aliens via proclamation, which you shouldn't have to proclaim that, right? That kind of goes without. That is the fact. It's like, you know what?
The point of a border.
We're going to make illegal immigration illegal.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. It's like a sheriff walking out and saying we are declaring all murderers are illegal. It's already there. But Trump will also create task forces for the protection of Homeland Security with officers from a bunch of the alphabet agencies. This is one of the great things I love. Trump will also direct designations of cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, which the officials said will unlock new authorities to achieve the Trump Homeland Security mission.
He's talking about taking tier 1 operators and basically giving them hunting rights, which is not good for the cartels. They've been fighting local authorities, and I would even say specialized units in Mexico for a long time. They've never been against a tier 1 operator from the United States.
Explain what a tier 1 operator is.
Yeah, I was going to say, go ahead, X-Wing.
You're talking about the absolute best of the best. So everybody's like, oh, SEAL Team 6, those guys. This is a different echelon of guys, a lot broader than SEAL Team. So you're talking about Delta, guys like that, whose sole
Think
existence.
about certain TV shows like that dramatize some of these wet works operators.
Their joy in this world is, I've trained for this many years at this point. You're telling me I get to go hunt these guys down and kill them? Like, yeah, I'm really excited with the full authority of the government.
What's going to have to also happen for this to actually be effectuated is that he's going to also have to make major changes at the Pentagon.
Yes.
Because the hundreds of generals there, you know how many 4-star generals there are now? It's mind-boggling.
And they're all just political nonsense generals.
They're going to stand in the way.
More than World War II, right?
Yeah, these aren't wartime generals. These aren't General Patton. These aren't Douglas MacArthur. These are not the OG war hero generals that you want that should be leading a military. These are political appointees. These are like the Surgeon General, the dude that plays dress up. And I mean, this is the kind of, I mean, I'm not all to that extreme, but obviously you get my point. There are a lot of people in the military. Everybody, Ron, would you agree that when we heard about, well, Trump's Trump's reelected, he's coming in, he's going to change this department, change that department, and you hear all these people from the military, the higher up, you hear all these people in the FBI that say that they're all quitting day one. Ron, who are those people that are saying that?
They're the people you want to quit. There are still pardons that might be made. Those
in the morning.
It's going to be nauseating. It's just the irresponsibility and arrogance.
I wanted to ask, because Ron, you've clearly got a good head on your shoulders here. I think the essence of everything that's going on that I'm trying to wrap my head around is that in the first time Trump took office, his first administration, as a non-career politician, he had a lot of big ideas and he wanted to come in and he wanted to implement them. I don't think he knew exactly how many roadblocks were going to be in his way when he took office the first time. Now on the second round, he knows exactly what he's up against. He's moved his chess pieces into place to ensure that the movements that he wants to make will happen. And now he's looking at a much, much softer landing into his second term in office as he was in his first.
Very different, entirely different philosophy of staffing. He was reaching out not only across the aisle, but into the traditional Republican Party, thinking, understandably, that they were his allies. And what he discovered was that they were not.
Right.
And of course, the most extreme examples of that were his chief of staff. He said, great, I'm going to bring in the head of the Republican Party, so a real Washington insider. He'll be the chief of staff, and he'll help me get things done. Guy was trying to undercut Trump the whole time. Then John McCain in the Senate. People who were just absolutely awful. It's a different political situation, and it's a different staffing situation. And what you'll really notice is just how little Trump has had to say.
Right. He's been
Just
quiet.
how quiet it's been. And also, you guys saw any of the clips from the hearings last week. These witnesses were prepped. They were, I mean, yes, it's true that if someone asks a gotcha question.
Yeah.
Okay, quick, who are the members of CN, an economic cooperative organization that has nothing to do with the military? You could put Ben Shapiro up there who, he knows everything. No matter how smart a person you put in there, there's a gotcha question for them. Pam Bondi took no prisoners. Wow. She was great.
And I look, and to be fair, because I've heard from folks, and look, you guys know that it's me. Look at the hat I wear. I'm a big two-way guy, right? And I know there's people out there that have some concerns with Pam Bondi because in the past she'd expressed some degree of favorability towards the idea of quote-unquote red flag laws. Now, I don't know if that's really completely accurate or not, but again, as the AG, Pam Bondi's not writing laws. She's enforcing them. So,
and you have to also go back to the political situation that she was in at the time. The Republicans in Florida at that time did not have the kind of political control that they have now. I really got pretty ticked off today when I was flying here and reading everybody. I don't like what I'm seeing from Trump. Dude, he literally hasn't been sworn in yet. These snapshots. This idea that everyone is going to all of a sudden start weighing in on whether expectations are being met, it's so childish. Come on. I'm not saying, I as a partisan, I do say give him the benefit of the doubt, but even if you're not as partisan as I am, you simply cannot assess anything without a little bit of distance, a little bit of time, including things like
some form of data, something.
Right.
Listen to what Ron was saying, read this article, and understand that when Donald Trump is issuing these things, this is all by his design, his team's design, and most importantly, he is fully cognizant of what he will be signing. But in addition to the cartels, Fox News has also learned that Trump will reinstitute the, quote, remain in Mexico policy, direct the military to construct a new area of border wall. Again, this is all going to move very quickly. He will grant emergency authorities to suspend the entry of illegal aliens across the southwest border, allowing for individuals apprehended to be swiftly, quote, swiftly returned to their countries of origin. And again, it sounds crazy. We talked about earlier, we're going to make illegal immigration illegal. We know, but there has been so much impediment, so much red tape.
You have to go back. You have to go back.
That's it.
Yeah,
There's
well, how
not
much
gonna
is
be,
that
oh,
going to
you're gonna
cost? You're just going to fly them back? Well, we were flying them on 747s to other parts of the nation, so about the same.
How much time and expense did it cost to run them through the United States justice system? I mean, they would go to immigration courts. Like, no, they're illegal. You're not going to court. You're not entitled to protections under the law like American citizens have. When A, you're not an American citizen, and B, you violated our borders and invaded our country to get in here. No,
you broke.
We got you.
Law.
You go back. You go back to where you came from. That's it.
It looks to me as if the way this has played out, where Trump is getting a second term, but he had 4 years in the interim to think about everything and plan it out, and now he has the power of an incoming president. It seems to me like this is the Democrat worst nightmare. Like,
You're right.
They
It
created
is better,
worse.
even though they have had more of an opportunity to dig in.
Right.
have
They're
all-
entrenched now
They
at this
have,
point.
but they have shown their hands so overtly. And also, there's, like, for example, you mentioned that he's going to authorize the military to build the wall. Guess what? Supreme Court already ruled on that. Last time around, that wasn't in place. Now, with his legal team up there, including my former partner, David Warrington, who's now White House counsel, and my former colleague, Pam Bondi, they know the fights have, not all of them, but a great many of them have been fought. You'll notice that picture we're looking at right now.
Mm-hmm.
That is a hell of a badass picture.
That's a lot different than his first one.
Yeah.
His first one's.
You know what this picture says? You're fired.
Make sure you're subscribed to Valiant Renegade and join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show.